Well, welcome back to the Canadian Music Expo Spring Equinox Edition. Hope you've been enjoying the day so far. We have about 1 hour and a half left in the event. You can see how much time is left just above my head. There's a fuse there. Hopefully you've had a chance to get into the networking area and the sessions and the stage and lots of great activity, lots of great fun. Speakers all day. We've got other speakers coming up soon, but really excited to be joined by with Joe Barksdale. Joe is an American singer, songwriter, electric guitar player, and former NFL player. So we're going to talk about your music career now, Joe. And thanks very much for being on here at today's event.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
That's great. So you've had obviously an interesting story. I don't know how many former NFL players have gone into music. I don't know if they keep stats on that, but why don't we talk? Well, we'll get into your music career as we go along here. But just kind of at what point growing up was there a time that you were like, okay, you know what, I want to get into music. That's always been my dream, my passion. Was it later in life? Was it earlier in your life?
Yeah, I would say music was actually my first form of communication. I knew how to hum melodies and, that kind of thing. I was able to recognize music before I was able to speak. And music's just always been a part of my life ever since. There's always songs to perfectly talk about how I feel or what I'm going through or, what kind of day I've had or that kind of thing. So I think that music has always been with me. I think that it just got to a point in my life where I became brave enough to pursue it.
Yeah, that's fair. So, and where did you? I think you were in our research department. You were in school as well. You were doing some instruments too, right? High school.
I played. I was in the middle school band. I played saxophone.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's kind of walk. And where did you grow up? Maybe you can talk a little bit about your growing up in Detroit, I believe, right? And
I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much the foundation for my love of like soul, gospel, R&B, and jazz. Those are four big genres in the city. We went to church every Sunday. So that's where the gospel element came from. My dad, as well as like his friends and just people around his age in general, were big Marvin Gaye, Teddy Pendergrass, Al Green fans. So I got a really good mixture of the soul and the gospel just at home. And as I began to venture out and listen to new types of music, I started finding out about R&B and of course the blues and rap and just so many different expressive genres. And it's like I said, I played in the middle school band. I played the saxophone in the middle school band. My first instrument was actually the violin. No, first instrument was actually the recorder when I was in elementary school. But I know everybody plays the recorder. And I had to play the violin for a year. Our band instructor used the violin as like a weeder instrument, to see if you were serious about really wanting to play in the band. So everyone had to start off with the violin. And I went from there to saxophone. I didn't have much time to do music in high school because of the sports thing. And I told myself that one day I would pick the saxophone back up. And I became a professional athlete and realized that, the saxophone wasn't the best for my sensitive teeth. So that's how I started playing guitar. And I do piano now too, actually. I'm taking piano lessons.
Excellent. You're going to have, how many instruments do you envision yourself learning and playing?
I say probably 3 or 4. After the piano, I want to kind of get into the drums a little bit, but I feel like I'd be able to do most of the things I want to do with being able to play guitar and keys. But I would like to learn maybe trumpet or something like that.
Wow. Excellent. So you were born in Detroit, which is not far from Toronto, about 4 or 5 hours away from Toronto. You went to LSU, Louisiana State University. You had a full American scholarship. Mm-hmm. Right. So you played football all along through your growing up as well.
No, I didn't start till I was. I wanted to be I wanted to be an engineer. That was actually my major when I first started out in college, was electrical engineering. The way that I got into football, I was in an engineering camp over the summer. It was a residential camp at the University of Michigan. Long story short, I got kicked out like 2 days after the camp started, and I needed something to do over the summer to stay out of trouble. And that's how I started doing football. I was trying to get in shape and in trouble in the summer.
So you got drafted by the Oakland Raiders, third round of the 2011 NFL draft. You played college football at Louisiana State, as we talked about. You kind of played through the years with the Rams and St. Louis, Los Angeles Chargers, and Arizona Cardinals. Mm-hmm. So then the story is that one of your coaches kind of encouraged you to go into music. Is that how it kind of played out?
Yeah, I had a death of a very, 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 if all the berries haven't gotten it across, very influential person in my life. I would consider him a pillar. And during the season, it was easy to keep my mind off of dealing with that death because I had football going on. He died during the season. At the end of the season, I had a coach, my head coach, Jeff Fisher at the time. Everyone was concerned about my mental health. And I guess I'll use this moment to say that I do have two mental illnesses. But everyone was concerned about, what I was going to do during all that, break time. And Jeff Fisher, who was the head coach, suggested that, I pick up a hobby or something that would occupy a lot of mental space. And he brought up the guitar as one of the things that I could try. I had never played guitar before. And honestly, at that time, I didn't even know who Jimi Hendrix was. But I loved it, I love it. I didn't love it. I love it now today too. But that was the beginning of it. Yeah. I'm trying to find a way to process grief. But I mean, that's artistry, right? Different people pull from different areas. You're trying to, in my mind, you're always trying to express something whenever you're getting behind a microphone. So, for me, it started out, and it still is processing pain and different traumas and things that I've been through. And music really helps with that.
So 2019, you hung up the cleats. You retired from the NFL. You were hiking in California, supposedly, as the story goes, when you decided to retire. So what was going through your head at that point on your hike?
Pretty much I got lost on a hike. I got tired of, I didn't play with any winning teams. So I got tired of feeling like a loser. I got tired of feeling unfulfilled with my job. I was tired of not fitting in with anybody in my job. I was tired of existing. And I realized as we were on the hike, my life is like this hike. I don't have to keep going down paths that I don't want to. I can pivot. And that's what I decided to do.
No, interesting. You were on your own on the hike, or you were with others, or?
My wife was with me.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So then April 2019, you had your debut EP, Electric Soul.
Mm-hmm.
And February 2020, you released the single Black Magic.
Yep.
So what was the background of those two, the EP and the single? Like, why Black Magic? Why Electric Soul? Did the names have any kind of something to do with your shift to music, or something else inspiring you?
I mean, all of my music is very personal. I don't sit down and break it all down. But like I said before, I use my art as a way to express myself. So it's, there's always like a bunch of deep hidden meanings and that kind of thing. But to keep it surface level, I would say Electric Soul, these songs and projects were more attitudes. They were more focused on the outcome of the project, not necessarily like the naming of the project or anything like that. My creative process is pretty much get in touch with how I feel, how I'm feeling, and I express it, and I just do that over and over and over again. But the Electric Soul EP was a special one because I had dropped a project before Electric Soul. I since pulled it back because, it could be better. And I don't want that to be people's first impression of my music. So Electric Soul was a kind of more of a laser focused effort of, one, continuing to try to find my sound, two, continuing to be comfortable and, learning a bunch of things just in the studio as far as being a musician, a songwriter, a band member, that kind of thing. And three, releasing music that was better than the music that I released previously. So so that creation project culminated in Electric Soul, which was an offering of, kind of like, look, I'm getting better, that kind of thing. And Black Magic was actually the last song that I wrote on the Sincerely EP. But it was one of the best. I mean, in my eyes and in a bunch of people's eyes, it's one of the best sounding songs on the EP. So that's how it became the first single. Followed up by Moonbeam, which is pretty much the cornerstone of my music career. Moonbeam was one of the first songs that I wrote that I was actually proud of, that I wanted to play for people. It was the first song that I wrote that challenged me as a singer. And, it was the song that proved to me that maybe I can do this for a living. So those two projects, there were probably, like, not over exaggerating, like years of growth in those couple years of releasing that music. But it was, like I said, between trying to release a better product as well as, just get a catalog out there, because anybody can have one good song. My thing is always, and it will always be, consistency. So, yeah.
Very cool. And so, so in 2020, you released the LP Sincerely. So Black Magic's off of that LP, right?
And Moonbeam.
And Moonbeam too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Excellent. So, I mean, so your career really just, has been just started the last couple of years, right? And now you're really putting everything into your music career. So how many hours a week do you spend in writing, recording, performing a week? Like what does your week look like now?
So we just got a new puppy. So the week is it's changed a little bit. We got a new Doberman puppy. She's already got me wrapped around her fingers, but that's another story. On an average day, I wake up in the morning, let the dog out, help with the kids, get them ready for the day. We have two daughters. And after that, I'm usually, I'll take my medicine and my vitamins. I work out. And then I write. Before I do any of that in the morning, I wake up and I write 2 pages. They're called the morning pages. The way that the exercise was introduced to me was, it's a way of skimming the leaves off of the creative pool that is your brain. That's how it was explained to me. But I do find that it helps. Not only does it help, it's pretty much it's stream of consciousness journaling, and you're using a pen, and you're just writing for a half hour or 2 pages, whichever comes first. But I do find it helps me not only with musical writing, I also do comedy. It helps me with comedy writing. It also helps me, I'm also autistic. It helps me express myself with words. So it's a multifaceted benefit from doing that. But after the working out, of course, I shower. And then usually after that, we're into the music, the creation process of the day, creation and technique. So I usually pick an instrument that I want to work on, whether it's my voice, the keys, or the guitar. And I'll spend anywhere from half an hour to an hour just doing technique work or creating something new, that kind of thing. Always getting more and more familiar and comfortable with the instrument, as well as getting better, with the instrument. And then after that, I'll do some comedy writing. Then after that, I usually do like some poetry writing, which transitions into songwriting. And then usually at the end of the day, I also have a YouTube channel that I recently started. I can't sit still. So I'll on that too.
That's great. If you're just joining, my name is Marc Belaiche. I'm president of the Canadian Music Expo. I'm joined by Joe Barksdale, an American singer-songwriter, electric guitar player, and former NFL football player. We're talking about his career. So Joe, when you started off in the music side after you retired from the NFL, did you have already connections built up? Like, did you already know what you were going to be doing, or you started purely from ground up?
Yeah, I started the same way I started football. Like, I just jumped in and, figure out as you go along. I see too many people that procrastinate from doing things that they want to love. I'm sorry, they procrastinate from doing things that they want to do, doing things that they love. And I knew I was never going to be that person. If I want to do something, I'm going to do it. And if I'm not doing it, I'm wasting my time doing whatever I'm doing anyway, because that's not what I want to do. So.
Right. So interesting. And I mean, people in general make career changes through their lifetimes, right? And, yours is a real unique career change, really, right?
I mean, no, not in a world with people like Aubrey Graham or Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, or even like Richard Pryor, who's a comedian that just, changed his entire comedic direction. I mean, there's a bunch of those inspiring stories, and the reason I know about them is because they inspire me. So
right. And have you talked to other musicians? Like, have you connected with others as well, like in your dealings? Has the fact that you were in the NFL opened any doors for you otherwise, or not really?
No. I mean, if anything, it closes doors. People
really?
My music is, I almost cursed. People assume that my music is trash because I used to play football, and they just assume like, no one, I mean, that's how it goes. You're a former athlete. People just assume you've got the money. You can just put it into a music career. Like, I can't tell you how many people listen to my music and look at me and say, wow, this is actually good. Like,
it is good. That's really good.
But that's like if you brought, I don't know, a report card home to your parents who you love and admire, and oh my God, these are actually good grades. Like, did you guys not think I could do it? Or kind of hurts a little, but it is what it is. But that's something that I'm actively fighting against all the time. People assume that you are not good, and they assume that you're an entitled asshole.
Yeah, you've got some great music. So you got videos all over the place. You got a great website as well. People can go on as well, joebarksdale.com. You live in Austin, Texas now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we moved to Austin, Texas in 2019.
Right. So you have you had big goals for 2021, right? About number of albums that you're going to release this year.
Mm-hmm.
How many are you planning still to release?
It's 6 or 7.
Unbelievable.
There's 4 albums, which is a year-long 52-week project. There's going to be the follow-up to Sincerely, but it's going to be an actual album called Yours Truly. And then there's a Star Wars project, 6 albums. There was going to be 7 albums, but I decided to just combine them into Yours Truly and make it a full feature-length album because we're ready now. But yeah.
And how many tracks on each album?
So 4 of the albums will have 13. 4 of the albums will have 13 tracks each. The Star Wars project has 9. And then the Yours Truly album, I believe, has 12. So that's what, 52, 67, no, 64, 64, 65, 66. Oh, 70, 72? 72? Wow. 72 is my football number, my old football.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that's a lot of material. Is somebody helping you? Is it all yourself? You have your band members?
It's all different stuff. The stuff that's coming out right now, I did alone. The Movie Monday singles that are coming out, I did alone. My band is going to be playing with me, and this will actually be the first time that the band that I play with live is going to be playing with me on an album. So I'm really excited about that. We'll all be playing together on the Yours Truly album. The Star Wars project was actually I produced too. So the Star Wars project was actually a production thing for me. I produced the album and I did the music, but I have a voice actor that I worked with. His name is Kevin Cabral. Fantastic guy, even better voice actor. So there's a lot of different things going on because, like I said before, I can't sit still. So it's each project is kind of in its own circle, but they come together like a Venn diagram, and in the center is me.
Awesome. No, it's good inspiration. In fact, Sean has posted a comment in here. He thinks that going from being a professional athlete to a musician gives you an interesting story to tell and a unique voice to share, right? It is unique, right? I mean, like at the end of the day, you've got a good story, and it brought you to where you are here, and here you are, right? I mean, promoting yourself and releasing a whole bunch of albums. Like, what's like, how do you follow up this year? Like, what are you thinking for 2022, 2023? Like, what goals have you set for yourself?
Better music. It's always about better music. I'm always about getting better. I don't believe in getting comfortable in where you're at, because you're either getting better or you're getting worse. I'm pretty sure that came from sports, that thought process. But I'm always trying to do better than I did the year before. And that's just, I'm an extremely competitive person, very passionate about what I do. And so I would say, whatever's coming out this year, I would expect the music that comes out next year to be even better. And that's the way that I see myself getting to where I want to go. And when I do get to where I'm trying to go, then I will say that I have a great story. But right now, it's still being written.
Excellent. Well, so you talked earlier about Jeff Fisher being an inspiration for you. Is there anyone else that you would credit to get you where you've got so far?
I mean, these people are dead mostly, but Marvin Gaye, Jimi Hendrix, Richard Pryor, people like Dave Chappelle, Drake, like people that have, had moments in it, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, people that have had moments, so some of these people are still alive. People that have had moments in their career where they look up and say, like, this isn't what I want to do. This isn't who I am. This isn't what I want to be. And then they go into that career after, disappearing for a couple of years, because no one just, walks into something at the top of their game. But it's very inspiring to see, and it's very exciting for someone like me, because I don't know if I would have been brave enough to do it without those examples,
Mm-hmm. And Aubrey Graham, Drake is right here in Toronto.
Yeah, so it's Bad Not Good. You guys have a lot of good music artists. Get out there. I can't wait to get out there.
As well, South by Southwest in Austin, right? And then Toronto's got North by Northeast.
Okay.
And Toronto's becoming has become, I mean, aside from the pandemic, a really great music city, right? And Canada in general has some amazing talent that's come out. So, hey, one day you and I and Drake will go for dinner or something, right? Somewhere.
Sure, yeah. And by that time, it'll be a real story to tell.
Yeah. You'll remember this conversation, right?
Yeah. That's the thing about being autistic. I don't forgive much.
So if you have questions, we have a few minutes left here. So my name is Marc Belaiche. I'm president of the Canadian Music Expo, interviewing Joe Barksdale, who's an American singer-songwriter, electric guitar player, and former NFL player. Left a career in NFL, retired a couple of years ago, and has gotten into music. So talk about the live streams that you've been hosting during the pandemic.
I've had a couple opportunities to play at a couple different festivals that would have been festivals, but like you said, the pandemic. So I was fortunate enough to be offered the opportunity to play some live stream shows, and it's really cool. I mean, I'm all about being smart and being safe, and I know that this, at the time that we were doing the shows, it's the closest that we could get to playing a live show, and I'm all about playing live music, man. So it's anytime you ever see me on stage playing live music, now, in the past, in the future, I am having the time of my life, like I always am, because that's why I got into music, was to play live with the band. So whenever I am playing live with the band, I'm very, very happy, even if for the briefest of minutes.
All right. Well, the best medicine for musicians, they always tell me, is being on stage, right, performing, and having that taken away in the last year has been a huge challenge for a lot, and mental health and so on, right? So, how have you dealt with that side of it?
I started doing comedy. I started doing comedy. And that's not to say that I don't do music anymore, because I still very much so do music, but comedy is a very good, what is it called? Cross trainer. You're still performing in front of people. You're making a connection with people. It's just in a different way. it also helps me, once again, because of the high functioning autism, connect with people and communicate successfully. And it also, it's added so much more writing, which has brought so much more creativity to the music. So they've actually been working very well together. And I like to think I'm funny. So.
Well, you're always smiling. You're always in a great mood, right?
So really good medication.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great.
I take Wellbutrin.
Were you like that in the huddles in the NFL games, like joking around with the guys, or was it all serious, or what?
No, I tried to kill myself while I was playing football. That's the reason why I stopped playing.
Oh, I see. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, it happened. It is what it is. I mean, obviously, I'm not good at it, so you do deserve to laugh. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It happens. Like I'm a firm believer that, especially when you're talking about musicians, life is hard, and musicians and artists are just like comedians or some of the people, and I think that's why I connect so well with them, that are willing to admit that life is hard. That's why they're doing, a lot of times that's why they're doing it in the first place. And I believe that not talking about things just only makes people more afraid of them. So like, I know, like, the suicide word scares people, but I'm a firm believer that if people don't get more comfortable talking about people having those kind of thoughts and going through those kind of things, the numbers are just going to keep going up. They're not going to go down. What has ever disappeared by not talking about
it? Honestly, great point.
Yeah.
On a personal level, my niece committed suicide a few months ago, and she was 36. And, it was only after that you kind of start going, okay, like, it's okay to talk about, right? And, discuss it and keep it open. And it used to be probably the same as concussions in the NFL, right? Nobody wanted to talk about it. And, now that it's more on the table, like, it's, people can and should talk about it, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you brought it up.
They're concerned about concussions, but still watch football.
Right. Yeah. All right. So, no, definitely, it's good. So we've just got a couple minutes left here, but is there something you want to promote? Your website, YouTube, videos, anything that you want to promote?
No,
people can connect with you?
I think I promoted the one thing I did want to promote, which is I'm really big on the mental health aspect of things, if you can't tell. Between, it's a biological issue for me, as well as, growing up. And I know that a lot of people aren't brave enough to talk about it, and ones that have come out and talked about it, a lot of people have been like shunned or ostracized or whatever. Well, someone like me who just doesn't care, I feel like it's my duty to talk about it, because if I don't talk about it, who's going to talk about it? So I guess if I would say anything, it's just, be honest with yourself and be honest with the people around you. There are people around that care. No matter what you're going through, whether you're a struggling musician, or just, a struggling human being in general. Like, it's hard enough just to be a human before you start tacking other stuff onto it. So I guess if I would say anything, it's just, find someone you feel comfortable talking to, because talking to no one doesn't help anybody.
That's great advice. Just reaching out to somebody's friend, a coworker, manager, anybody, right?
Yeah, anybody. You can reach out to me. I got my cell phone number on my website. Text me.
Yeah. Awesome that you're making yourself available, and great that you're bringing this up, because it's such a huge issue, especially during the pandemic. Like, it's just making everything worse, right? It's layering on top of an already challenging world and life. It's it's a huge challenge. So, really grateful for you to bring that up.
Oh, it's my pleasure, man. I feel like, we're going to be here together. We all want the same things at the end of the day. We want to be heard, we want to be loved, and we want to be understood.
Right. So anybody watching, make sure, feel free to reach out to Joe. You want to talk to somebody, reach out to me, talk to somebody, right? Talking can be really helpful, right? So, hey, really thankful for your time, Joe. And, just awesome that you shared your experiences, through your life growing up, the challenges that you've had as well, and the advice that you can offer to other ones as well. So I wanted to actually, there's one other question here as well from Julian that just got posted. So I just thought I'd ask it here. Okay. So Julian said, do you feel that the music industry tends to negatively romanticize mental health issues sometimes? Like, for example, with Kurt Cobain and others?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I believe there's good parts to everything and bad parts to everything. And I feel like the way that not just the music industry, but media, the way that media presents things in general, there's all these absolutes, it's all or nothing. You're either mentally ill and you're, genius, or you're mentally healthy and you're not. Like, and that's not the case. I think, we all know that there's a bunch of different shades of gray when it comes to the world. But yes, to answer the question, yes, I do think that is something that has been romanticized. Was that the word?
Yeah, romanticized.
Okay. Yeah, that has been romanticized. I agree.
Yeah,
because as someone with a mental illness, I would love to just be making music without it. Like I'd love to not be in this situation. And honestly, I think if you ask anyone with a mental illness, they would say the same.
Right. And then Rob asks, sports or music, which is your first choice? I think I know, but
I mean, in the big scheme of things, that's why I always talk about my competitiveness. Like, I was in love with competing, not sports. So it's always been music. It's always going to be music.
Right. What would someone, going back to your NFL career, and it doesn't sound like you have any regrets as to that you retired. It got too far, but
honestly, sometimes I have regrets.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I retired from football to get away from football. But like we talked about at the beginning, being a former football player is kind of like more of a hindrance on a music career than it is a help. Right. But I mean, that's petty stuff. In the bigger scheme of things, I'm sure we'll be talking in 5 years, and I'm like, it's the greatest decision I ever made in my life, So yeah.
Yeah. As you build your career, and have your a former player players helped you out at all? Like, have they done anything to help you out, or they just kind of said, "Hey, go for it," or encouragement otherwise?
More so encouragement than anything. From the couple of people that I did share my music with, my music didn't always sound the way that it sounds now. In terms of I was a much worse singer, I was a much worse player. It was a lot more raw. So it's not like anybody was, it's not like I was even trying to, play it for people back when I was playing football. And then honestly, I never really fit in on any of the teams. So I have a couple of friends, and I can count them on one hand, that I still keep in touch with, that I've played with over the years. But for the most part, I didn't really even talk to people like that. So I think it was more than anything, I think it was all just a surprise.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Joe. We're running out of time here, but really grateful to hear your story, and thanks for sharing and being really open and transparent about what you've been through and what you've done. And I hope, once the borders open with Canada and the US, I'll come down, we'll hang out, we'll go to South by Southwest and
or Northeast.
Or North by Northeast, yeah, and we'll hang out. And Austin's such a great music town. I was there a few years ago, and it's just it's awesome. Nashville, Austin, Toronto, right? It's the three best music cities, right? So awesome. All right, well, thanks a lot, Joe, and really great seeing you. And for those of you that are still part of today's event, I want to just make sure that in about 10 minutes or so, I'll be interviewing Carl Wolf, who is Canadian Urban Music Awards Urban Artist of the Year, 2-time Juno Award nominee, SOCAN Anglophone Song of the Year as well. You'll know him from the song Africa that made it to #2 in Canada. So that's coming up in about 10 minutes or so. Still got lots of stuff going on. There's the networking area. Make sure to connect with other musicians and music fans at the event, and the expo area as well. You can go through there and connect as well. So thanks very much, Joe, again. And to all of you watching, hang in there. There's another 55 minutes left to go. And let's talk music, man.
Call me, Carl. Call me. No, I'm just...
you want to talk to Joe about anything. He's such a nice guy. Honestly, you're awesome guy, and look forward to hearing a lot of great music from you this year and in the future years.
Thank you. And once again, thank you so much for having me. This has been fantastic. It was very exciting, and I'm just very happy to be here. So thank you for listening, whoever you are. I can't speak to you all individually.
Oh, we got Cheryl, Julian, Rob. There are a lot of people watching here.
Cheryl, Julian, Rob, thank you so much for listening.
Awesome.
Yeah. Carl, let's work on a song together. What kind of
Sounds good. All right. Thanks so much, eh?
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, Marc.
Thanks, you too, Joe. Stay safe.
You too.
Take care. Thanks.
Bye-bye.